This video will work through problem 8.6 from Gapenski's Healthcare Finance 6th edition. 8.6 asks us to build a operating budget for the notional Chelsea Clinic. So based on the chapter, we're going to have 4 parts to our operating budget. The first part is going to be volume assumptions. And so with Chelsea Clinic, we're told that they have, they're expecting a total fee-for-service visit volume of 90,000 visits. They have a payer mix of 40% Blue Cross, 60% Highmark. If you if you look down through this list, you don't see anything that indicates that they have capitated payment. So this is a clinic that's strictly a fee-for-service clinic. So we have Part A, Blue Cross volume is going to be 90,000 visits total, 40% of which are going to be from Blue Cross. So 90 times 40 is 36,000. Part B, we're going to have Highmark. Highmark, again, we have 90,000 total visits, 60% of which come from Highmark. So that's going to be 54,000 visits. So our volume total is going to be 36 plus 54, or 90,000, which matches what we were starting with. Okay, so that's our volume assumptions. Next, we'll have our expected revenues. And so we'll divide that by provider. So Blue Cross, we're told that Blue Cross is going to pay us $25 per visit times 36,000 visits, gives us a total of 900,000 in revenues. Highmark, so A, B, Highmark is going to reimburse us at $20 per visit times the 54,000 visits. $20 times 54,000 is 1,080,000. So C, total revenue is going to be the sum of that, so that's 1,980 million. Okay. Part 3 of our operating budget is going to be costs. We're going to have variable costs, which are going to be labor. And labor is expected to be 48,000 hours times $25 per hour. So labor is going to be 48 times 25 is 1.2 million. And then supplies are expected to be 100,000 units times 150 per unit of supplies. So that is 150,000, excuse me, 150,000. 1.5 times 100, 150,000. So total variable cost is 1,350 million. And then we have fixed costs equal to 500,000. So total cost is 135 plus 500, 1,850. Okay. And then now that we have revenues and costs, we can do our P&L. 4 is our P&L. P&L starts with revenues. We are estimating revenues of 1.98 million. Then we have costs, variable costs, and we estimate variable costs at 1.35 million. So our contribution margin is 1.98 minus 1.35, gives us 630. Then we have fixed costs of 500, which gives us our estimated profit, expected profit of 130. Okay. Then it asks us to assume how each key budget assumption might result in budget variance. Name the variance. Okay, so our big variance is profit, right? Profit variance, and profit variance decomposes and profits would be wrong if something were to drive profit to be wrong. Well, what would drive profit to be wrong? Well, it's either going to be revenues or it's going to be costs, right? So we'll either have revenue variance or cost variance. So if our revenue has variance, it's going to come from one of two sources. It's either going to come from a volume misestimate, right? We're going to be wrong about the volumes, which here would drive the total. So if we're wrong about how many Blue Cross, or we're wrong about how many Highmark that we have, or even the mix of the two, right? So if we have more Highmark than Blue Cross, but we still get 90,000, that would be bad for us because the prices, Highmark prices are lower than Blue Cross prices. Or we could be wrong from a revenue perspective. We could be wrong about our estimate of our prices. So we could be wrong about how much Blue Cross is going to pay us, or wrong about how much Highmark is going to pay us. That would result in a price variance. Similarly, we could be wrong about our costs. We could be wrong about our costs in terms of volume. We could be wrong about it. And remember that, we're going to have some, this is going to result in some, we're going to have some number of hours per visit times the price of the visit. That's our price estimate. So we could be wrong about the price of the labor in terms of either the amount of labor per visit or the cost of the cost per hour of the visit, of the labor for the visit. Or we could be wrong about supplies. We could be wrong about the cost per unit of supplies or the number of units used per visit. Either of those would be a a management variance or price variance, but we call it a management variance when we're working with cost. Or we could be wrong about the number of visits, right? Because the more visits we have, the more variable cost we're going to incur. So we could be wrong about volume. So that's basically the ways that we could generate an error in our estimates about our costs.